Today, I will tell you exactly what will be happening with Bitcoin in upcoming couple of days. We will check out the Bitcoin chart. We'll also check the liquidation heat map and crypto fund rates in order to give you an overview for the upcoming possible scenarios and how you should actually be navigating on the crypto market currently. We will also go through the results for the meme coins that I was calling about a couple of weeks ago. We will check out what actually happened with them, and specifically we'll focus on the picks that I had the most conviction in. And I will also provide you with a list of low cap Solana meme coins with proper communities that you actually might be entering safely currently because they are bottomed out, but the communities are still active, the communities are still diamond holding the meme coins that I cherry picked myself. Without further ado, let's start. BTC Chartwise, we had this interesting pump yesterday, very nice pumpage, right? I was not, to be honest, expecting it so early. At the same time, what we're seeing is that we just entered weekend. Weekends, they're usually like slow. We have these weekend chops, and it's almost like fake pump before the weekend. It definitely liquidated a bunch of shorts out there. Scenario that I was talking about yesterday is final dump to 57k. This would be a very nice area to leverage loan your assets, and then essentially pumpish to 61 right here finally. And depending on what will be happening once we break through this level, we actually see what will be happening with the market afterward, right? But my projection is that we should be moving higher from here, and obviously the invalidation level, that if we're going lower than 55.8, that would be quite bearish, to be honest, right? Right now, we might be seeing this scenario be playing out. Again, midterm, I was always bullish till 61k. This is almost the level that we just reached recently. Personally, I do think that this might be a short liquidation event right here before we are finally going into this area. And from here, I think that we should be going higher as well. As mentioned, my day target is actually Monday. I would carefully be watching after the charts, and I would want us to actually be correcting on Monday. Following liquidation heat map definitely gives us certain tips that they might be moved down to 57k because we do have a bunch of leverage longs opened here at this stage. Very nice amount of liquidity that market makers and market manipulators would actually want to take. And interestingly, that we have these levels till $57,000. So probably if we will actually go below this level, if we will take this liquidity, there is a higher chance that we will go to 57k. We do have some short liquidity above us already, but I do think that eventually we should be reaching 61k level as well. Following the crypto funding rates, well, they're currently around 0 right now. So no one actually wants to leverage trading. Probably there is a bunch of boredom on the marketplace. Nothing is happening. So this is a whole different situation currently, but this is the situation that is usually happening on the market before the pump. 6 months sideways chop should be ending, and I do think that it should be ending quite soon. I gave you the estimates recently till 8th of October. I honestly think it would be actually the last chance to accumulate at that prices. Obviously you can accumulate at different prices, but at that prices I do think that Monday will be essentially the last chance to do that. So let's check out most conviction meme coins that I gave in my Discord on the August of 2023. August 23rd, right here. SCF is essentially at the same levels. We pretty much had a 2x, right? That after that got sold by the holders, right? The next thing is Selfie. Let's actually check out what happened with Selfie till the August 23rd, right here as well. So essentially I was sharing these things at the start of the pumpage, right? We do have 70% since then. Not so bad, I would say, not so bad, especially with the potential of this thing and the things that are happening around this thing. This is just crazy, a crazy nice entry point. Lockin. Lockin is kind of like this token that probably like was a meta, right? But I doubt that we do see a lot of like buzz around it currently. Maybe this is an opportunity actually. We will check 23rd. We're actually a bit down for Lockin, like we're 20% down. However, it's a very nice entry point if you believe in the project currently. It's very nice liquidity level. You have your support levels right here. You have your range, high range, you might say it's like right here. Probably the real range is somewhere right here. So we're kind of closer to the bottoms of the range, which is usually historically a better point to accumulate. Then I give you Tremp as well. What happened with Tremp? It's quite interesting that Tremp should be moving in connection with all the election bars and things like that. And Tremp actually went down, as I can see, right? Yeah, it's crazy. Since 23rd of August. Let's see it. No, it actually did not. It actually did not, I'm sorry. So we are exactly at the same levels. As mentioned previously, I do think like these levels, they're just very, very awesome to accumulate. The only issue I have is this with this price action, because this means that a range of whales are eventually capitulated and sold. At the same time, this might be viewed as the opportunity. Tremp-wise, we are at the bottom of the ranges currently. You might say that we are in this range, right? I'm sorry, this range right here. Let me make it bigger for you. Between the 11.5 and 20 million at this stage, we're exactly at the bottom of this range. And it's very, very nice to essentially be accumulating this thing right here, waiting for the breakout. We have the election, it should be breaking out. Let's move through the Brainlet. Let's just check out what happened with Brainlet from 23rd of August. It's like this meme from guys that are huge Boba community supporters. 23rd of August. So we actually might be even a bit down on Brainlet as well. 20%, right? 20% down. But as well, I do think that currently is actually the accumulation area for most of the assets out there. We had this deviation week at the bottom, and you might say that we are also at the bottom of this range currently, so it's a nice time to accumulate. The worst case scenario is we go back into this range, and then the ideal case is to accumulate around $9 million. We'll see if this would be happening. I don't think it's something like short term. I do think that like this is something that should be performing in the market moving further as well, just based on the people that actually support this thing. Then we have Fwog that I shared at 23rd of August. Let's check out what happened with Fwog since then. A very, very nice chart on Fwog. It's not like a very... Yeah, for some reason, I probably opened some type of new liquidity pool where... Yeah, I opened a smaller liquidity pool. That's why I did not have the chart. So 23rd of August from here, essentially right here, I give you a Fwog as well. We are 2.5x. So I would say that this is essentially the most successful coins out of them all. However, I do think that most of them are actually still very, very nice projects to accumulate. Mid to short term. I might be a bit less convicted in terms of Lockin, right? But still, this should actually be seen as an opportunity, right? Fwog, each and every time we're coming back to this trend line is a great way to accumulate, a great point, right? You might say that it's forming a new trend line like right now, this one. However, this one has a lower angle, so it would be definitely harder to sustain at this stage. So if we break through this trend line, your entry points, they're essentially around this trend line. So if we would essentially be somewhere here, $78-80 million, right? Coming back to our low caps. First thing is Rocky. Rocky is a meme coin that was heavily pushed by some influencers at a certain stage of the market, right? And then they actually dumped right after this happened. Let us put the higher time frame. So this thing can actually definitely be accumulated. You have this range that you might want to accumulate at. I can't call the top thing the range because we did not have like a lot of things happening in there. We're kind of closer to the top of the range at this stage. I remember I was buying right here. I think I bought 1% of this thing, but unfortunately I sold after it. Like a lot of gambling, a lot of trading is definitely helping during this time, and I'm also feeling certain emotions about certain positions that I have, right? So 4.5 million at this stage, it's kind of nice. Again, if you believe in the project, if you believe that it will actually be coming back. There are definitely some whale holders and some people that can push this thing moving further. However, gas-wise, like how high it can be, I would be a bit cautious about this thing. So your risk-reward from these levels might not be ideal. However, if we are back into the bottom of the ranges, or if we are back to like 3.5 million market cap, this might be a nice entry point. Michi. This is not a low cap, but I'm showing this in connection to the other coin as well that I was showing in the previous videos, but I would still like to mention in this video. So we had this pump from the bottoms. You have this bottom level. Still, we're kind of at the bottom of the ranges at this stage. You might, if you want, you might say that this was the giant range, and you can definitely see that we are at the bottoms of this range, right? You might say that this is something of a lower range because we have a bunch of liquidity traded at these levels as well. We're still at the bottoms of this range. So still pretty nice entry point at this stage. The rumor on the streets is that they actually might be getting winter mute as a market maker sooner, right? And some people are essentially buying or accumulating in the expectation of something like this happening. We saw certain reaction from the bottoms, as we saw on a range of meme coins out there. This might be like your safe pick. Your safe, sell the news. It's not even sell the news, because I think when winter mute will actually be announced, this thing should be pumping. However, there is a better play for this project that has a lower market cap, and that was behaving quite nicely on the recent market price action as well. So the project is called Mini, right? And since 6th of September, I think I was also calling it at 23rd of August. So 100%, I was mentioning it in the video. We're currently higher, and yeah, the top was 70%. So quite a healthy chart, if you would ask me. Quite a nice one. You might say that these are your ranges, right? We probably should not be going below this level right here, because we should have a bunch of demand right here on this level. So anything in this range is nice. Obviously, closer to the bottom of the range, closer to the $40 million is better. The thing is that it's been actually used as like this Michi better play. So if winter mute announce will actually happen for Michi, this thing will probably pump in as well as Selfie, because it has like a bunch of holders that are holding all these projects at the same time. Selfie, Mini, Michi, and Popcat essentially at the same time, right? If we're coming back to this range, yeah, this is also would be a very, very nice accumulation range. People that were buying at the bottoms like 2nd of September, they up 3x with size. XD. Very, very nice, unique coin, I would say, because this is a coin about Twitter persona. This is a coin about fascist.eth, who is a Twitter girl, right? She's pushing this meme coin. It also kind of launched quite nicely because essentially it's also bundled, right? You can see, so probably they are farming this thing to have some money for exchanges and stuff like this for marketing. But at the same time, plus here is that she was showing her tits on Twitter. And these are very, very nice, beautiful tits, right? And people that are holding, that are buying this coin, like they will just be buying it with a image, with a picture of her tits in their hats, right? And I would say like if she was actually launching this thing in the bull market or in March, it would be like at least at $100 or $200 million right away, because she's a very interesting persona, very, very interesting type of influencer, woman influencer, right? So the chart looks nicely. You have this trend line, right? We're kind of just sprinting higher highs and higher lows. If the chart will sustain, you would want to have higher high right here. However, I kind of expect that we should have a longer accumulation range. If it would sustain this uptrend, it would be very, very bullish. However, the uptrend might be quite hard to sustain, to be honest with you. Maybe we would essentially just print second shoulder and do sideways consolidation somewhere here. But anyway, like currently $3.2 million market cap, it's a very, very nice thing to buy. The only issue is that it might be not that normie friendly. At the same time, it's based on this XD smile, which is quite normie friendly, if you would ask me, right? And it's also about emo culture. It's internet girl that was showing her tits on Twitter. So a very, very interesting type of setup. If you would actually ask me about the meme coin, like not a wide range of meme coins have this type of setup. So I would say it's quite a safe pick. I would say it's quite interesting to actually be accumulating this thing over time during the dips, and you should be capitalizing nicely on this thing, because I don't think that they would be ragging as well. I do believe that this girl is for quite some time on the market already. She's well known in different OG meme coin communities. She's very, very well known on Twitter as well. So you almost might say that this is a gem, right? Next thing is BTW. So I actually got wrecked heavily on this thing. I think I was buying like 1% of supply somewhere, yeah, during this one dip, and unfortunately we went lower from there. The issue that I have with the charts like this is that I really don't like the breakout of the trend right here. I I really don't like it. Like, it does not look well for me, right? Let me just print it for you. We definitely broke through this trend. And we have this type of charts on some of the memes that I was showing today, right? The advantage that you are getting if something like this is happening is that you actually can scoop up the supply at very, very nice prices right here, because 1.5 million, yeah, it's very, very low for this type of token. To explain what this token is, it's essentially like a prank movement. So they tape a banana to buildings, to cars, to like animals from time to time. So it's like this, it's almost like this first prank token, prank coin, right? That is definitely accepted by the marketplace, so a bunch of people actually know about it at this stage. In order to accumulate 1% of the supply, how much would actually have to pay? 15k. So probably I was actually accumulating less than 1% of the supply right here. But yeah, I'm down on this thing. I'm just holding, waiting for the whole thing to reverse. It's also the Low Cap Solana meme token, and it's also at the bottoms. The only issue that it might have is that it did not react in the recent pump, right? And this is something you have to be cautious about, right? You want things to react with the recent pumps. At the same time, it was 50% from the bottoms of the range. You might create a range like this. So currently, we are essentially at the middle of the range, which is a nice area for the accumulation at this stage. Next thing is Fwog. We definitely see a very, very nice uptrend on this thing forming. The issue with this uptrend is that it might be quite hard to sustain this type of upward movement. It's a penguin meme coin, right? We had a 50% dip right here. We have a 40%. So these are quite healthy dips, because what these dips are actually doing, they are allowing for this price action to continue. It's quite hard to say what will be happening with this thing. Let us actually just put out some fips. So you might want to be cautious about these three levels. A range of meme coins, they are often correcting to 0.786 level, which is essentially around 80% from the top, right? 73%, right? So here, if we would be correcting to 0.5 till 1.2 million, I would say that this would be a very, very nice entry point for yourself. However, in general, the angle of this uptrend movement, upward movement, is quite crazy at this stage. So I definitely do have questions about the fact whether or not this thing will actually be able to sustain this type of movement at this stage. But definitely a healthy, crazy chart. If you would ask me, you might just be watching after this thing and try to accumulate. At the same time, as I was mentioning in the previous video, you always should put a certain speculative value, a fair value of a meme coin, that when you're thinking on entering the meme coin, when you're checking it out. Here it's essentially about the people that are supporting it, essentially about the narrative as well. So note, it's a penguin's world. So I would say maybe it might be reaching $5 to $10 million in the current market. I would say that risk reward from entering currently is not that high. Obviously, if we are pumping to 70, 80k, it can go to $20 to $50 million, but it will definitely take some work from the team as well. I do believe that the guy behind it is a guy behind GM token, which reached $6 million market cap, but then racked, unfortunately, almost to zero. Right, so we will see what will be happening with this one. Like, I definitely have a lower conviction in this one, and this chart, and the only reason I have the lower conviction in this one is because it's with connection to the current chart, because this chart, like, it's not bottomed out definitely. If you're going back to these levels, you will lose a significant chunk of money that you will be entering with into this meme token, so be very, very careful. I would say that if we would be at 0.5 or 0.618, which is a golden level, this would be the best thing to enter into this meme token right here. It's interesting that the structure is kind of repeating itself right here as well. We'll see if, and these are daily candles, which is very, very important. Daily candles. If a meme coin, to be honest, is capable of just growing steadily on a daily candle on Solana, it definitely shows something. Let's actually check it out on the JIT screener as well. Supply in Giga Diamond Hands 11%, supply in Diamond Hands 57%. So that's essentially not that great. 30% average retention. This is nice. Average time held 10 days. Well, 10 days average time held for the meme token that just released 45 days ago. Pretty nice, if you would actually ask me, right? And chart definitely shows that. But we probably already spent too much time on poke. I'm just quite excited to see this chart moving as it's moving currently. Next thing I'd like to share is Inu. Inu is like your Solana beta play dog, right? And it's like Shiba Inu and all this stuff, and it's actually been supported by quite some, like by large accounts on Twitter if you would check. It also has this interesting uptrend with higher highs and higher lows as well here. So I would assume that we should be going back into this trend line right here, which would be a very, very nice entry. And after this, we should be printing higher high as well, if we assume that this thing essentially would be able to sustain the current angle and the current uptrend as well. Interesting kind of pump and dump price action that we saw right here. We entered the range, this range, right? And essentially we broke through it. Currently we are moving forward further into this uptrend. Again, this one is not bottomed. Your nice entry point is here on the uptrend. If you see that we are breaking through this uptrend line, we are breaking it down, you might actually sell the position that you have and look to entry during these points. And obviously if we are coming back into this range, but this should be the support line, and this zone actually has a bunch of liquidity as well, so this zone should be quite nice, and this one definitely as well. So somewhere right here, if we would be trading, like, it would be quite healthy if we would actually be trading somewhere like right here for quite some time to accumulate this asset as well. Fib wise, if we would start from the bulk of the move, yeah, so pretty much the levels, they're quite connected with the Fib levels as well, the liquidity levels on the chart, which is quite nice, which means that essentially someone is taking care of printing this chart right to full default traders out there. Next thing is Autism. Autism is a low cap Solana meme token. It had a recent pump through here. It might be forming this uptrend. It would be nice if we would actually continue this uptrend. And yeah, your entry point, if you believe that this thing will actually continue the uptrend, is currently. I would say it would be a bit bearish if we would essentially break through this uptrend and go back into the accumulation range. But this just would mean that we need a bit more time to accumulate the holders that would really be ready to hold this thing, and that would not be fine with like a 2x from the bottoms, right? Because it did a 2x and people are selling already. Very, very nice crypto investment. So it went quite high recently at 21st of July, and the main reason for that is because it's kind of being seen as a better play to retard you. And you know, I have this weakness about better plays because better plays give me a clear liquidity inflows in the future. Better plays essentially close the question for myself: will there actually be any liquidity inflows into this token into the future? And if they are a better place of a larger token that's more established in the marketplace, I do understand that there is a high chance that the larger token will be moving, and there is essentially a larger chance that a better play will also perform in connection to the main token as well. So I would say we're at critical stage in terms of this token. If you would want to accumulate, currently is a very, very nice level. If we are going lower, then we're probably going back into this range, and this would be the range for the accumulation as well. But we unfortunately will be back into the accumulation range. Very interesting project. I actually was buying in, buying and selling out of this project like several times, and Telegram community is definitely a very, very interesting one. Next thing is Kieth, which is Invisible Cat. So this one is quite interesting because it honestly has a range of influencers as holders, and apparently they did not sell. So if we would check out holders, one of these 5% wallet is actually Michi. And apparently I think he was buying the supply from the market. But as we see to my previous day here, we have this corrective channel right here. And as mentioned, I do not like situations like this on the charts, right? At the same time, they give you the option to reaccumulate this thing in $1 million, and this is a very, very nice sideways accumulation range, 100%. However, this thing means that top holders, they essentially lost the conviction, some of the top holders, right, and they decided to sell. We had the attempt to break out closer to the uptrend of the range right here yesterday with the whole market pump, which is definitely a very, very nice situation out there. Unfortunately, we get sold back to $1 million, right? And you might also say that the situation is quite similar, that if we break through this uptrend, we'll probably go back into sideways accumulation level right here, and we might actually be accumulating for quite some time. So I was seeing some stuff that essentially the cumulative amount of followers of influencers that are essentially in this token is $300,000, and there's a higher chance that they will be pushing this thing going back into the green market as well. And what I like about this thing is that it definitely reacts to the higher market as well. I'm a holder of this thing myself as well. Let's see what will be happen, because I also have a history with this thing of buying and selling. I think I was actually buying somewhere here on this breakout, because if we would essentially close this part of the chart, like this part, before it was a very bullish chart, like a steady uptrend, and it just made sense to enter at the bottom of this trend line. But unfortunately we broke through this ascending triangle and we broke down, obviously with the movement of the market, because I think if the market won't be that bearish, something like this will not be happening as well. Last but not least, it's kind of like a gamble. I still wanted to share it. I think I got like about 1% of this thing yesterday, but this is a very small amount of money still. And this is a GM token that I was talking about on this channel. I got wrecked on this token recently, because I think I was buying here at around $4 million market cap, and I probably rolled it down to maybe like 1 million or something. So, and I was buying like significant amount, so I was probably buying like around 1% at these levels, right? Unfortunately it broke down, and you can also see that it's back in this sideways accumulation range. Now I would say that the accumulation range for this thing is even like smaller, so right now, so kind of currently we're trying to go back to the higher boundary, to the higher resistance level right here into this accumulation range. We do have this trend line forming. It's quite interesting that like a bunch of charts, they actually look the same at this stage. I do think that like 3 to 4 meme coins that I showed you, they're kind of looking the same. This thing is from the founder of Fwog as well, so I do believe that maybe some of the profits from Fwog, they would actually be used here. Michi is also following this token on Twitter, right? And I do think that essentially either one of these 2% wallets is actually his as well. This thing got like dumped to 100k market cap as well, so you should be pretty cautious. And in general, like this part of like Low Cap Solana memes, please be very careful with them. There is a higher chance that you will be losing money with them. I'm sure the ones that I'm trying to share is the ones that I saw certain movement and support from the community over the long enough time frame, and I'm trying to share the ones that are also at the bottom of the ranges, and I'm trying to give you essentially entry points to enter into these tokens as well. You also might say that we are forming a trend line with a higher essentially uptrend, but this one would be very hard to sustain. If you believe we're at this uptrend, we should probably be buying currently. However, if you believe that we would be going down to here, then around 250k would be your entry point in terms of the market cap, right? And 100k is back into the accumulation range, so we'll actually see. Maybe it was just the pump in connection with the market, and this thing will actually move nowhere. I just acquired like a certain chunk of the supply because it was very cheap. In some of these memes, in some of the memes that I was sharing, like you can definitely be entering longer term, because I'm not. One thing I want to say, the things that I'm not sharing like short-term stuff with you, because highest ROI is actually holding these meme coins. The issue is that you should actually be placing the speculative value that these memes can actually reach, right? So in the case of GM, for example, do you think it will reach $50 million market cap? I doubt that. Can it go to like back to all-time highs, 5, 7? Yes, I do think it can, with the reverse on the marketplace as well. And you kind of have to take profits at that levels as well, because at that stage, a bunch of people will be actually taking profits from the levels that we are at currently. However, if you would be entering currently with the small amount of funds, you would be able to make some money from these meme coins. And again, I think in some time we'll come back to do these low cap sol memes, and we will check out what actually happened with them. Thank you very much for watching this video. I'll be seeing you tomorrow. Bye bye.